Hey everybody, it's Dale with Flatirons Fire. Just going to have what we would call in a cheesy way a fireside chat. Actually, I'd like to introduce my wife, Becky. Becky and I have been married almost 30 years now, and we were just going to talk a little bit about more the business side of it, how we kind of deal with the stresses of owning business, and I almost am going to pick her brain about what it's like. We really haven't talked about this. We haven't really prepared for this. Just jotted down a couple notes and we'll just kind of get going and kind of see how it goes. So, Becky, say hi.
Hi everybody. Thanks for having me.
Tell me a little bit about, obviously I'm the owner, I've been doing this for 20, 30 years. You've just now kind of gotten involved in the business. What are your impressions now of being involved in the business a little bit more, a couple days a week, as opposed to what your impressions were through all those years?
Well, when you first started the business, you were gone a lot and involved in it a lot, and I didn't really understand it. Of course, I had my own career, so I was involved in that. So, but
what was
now,
your career? What was your career?
I've been a nurse for 25 years, so I've been involved in my own career. Dale's always had businesses going that I've supported on the sidelines, but now I've taken more of a, I wouldn't say front seat, but I'm involved more. And so now, having been at the store, we talk about this all the time at home. I understand how your day goes by in a flash, and how sometimes you don't get home until 7 o'clock at night because you're wrapped up in what's going on.
So I do remember we used to have conversations. I come rolling in at 7:30, and you just could not understand it. But typically, you try to work 6 to 8 hours a day when you work. Do you find yourself, what's the biggest thing that is a stealer of time for you or makes your day go longer than normal?
When we get one client after another, you can barely catch your breath before the next one is coming in. And of course, as a business owner, you want it to be busy. You want that door to be swinging and people to come in, but you can't handle one problem before another issue happens.
So all those times when I'd say I was gone 10 hours a day, but then I got literally nothing done.
Yeah.
That kind of, does that make sense now?
Yeah.
So you'll quit yelling?
Never.
Never quit yelling. What are some of the things that, as being married to a business owner, things that have driven you nuts or caused you heartburn?
That's a good question. And I think one of the other wives of the other owners would agree with me that you guys are always on the phone. They're always taking phone calls. There's always something to be troubleshooting. I appreciate that you've gotten to the point where you try and commit time to me, but there's always going to be a phone call to take.
So what Becky's referring to is there'll be times when we're on vacation and I'm just on my phone the whole time, or we'll be out to dinner and my phone's ringing and I'll take a phone call because I want to make that sale or I want to solve a problem. But I would say one of the lessons I've learned throughout the years is people have that. I give customers access to me pretty much from 7 in the morning to 7 at night, and I've pretty much created the rule where after 7 o'clock, they don't get a hold of me. If I really feel like we're at dinner and I wanted being engaged at dinner, not answering my phone, and then after dinner, if I need to go look at a phone call and really handle something, I'll do it. And so that's one of the things we're trying to instill in one of my business partners is he still has the disease. He has to answer every phone call, every waking moment. And his wife is not too pleased with that. So we're trying to coach him of saying, hey, give yourself some closed office hours where people don't really have access to you.
I will say that you've gotten better about prepping me. So if we know that there's a big project coming up or we're going to be really busy doing something, you will say, okay, this week's going to be really tight. I'm going to have some late nights. Okay, great. I'll start dinner without you. It's fine. I just need the information.
That's right. And honestly, our attitude both changed. One time was I was playing golf one day, and one of my buddies, me and him had both taken a couple phone calls through the day. And you know, you don't want to be on the phone on the golf course because that's rude, but you still have to take a couple phone calls. And I was just getting really irritated. And I just told him, I was like, aren't you mad that you can't spend 4 hours without being bombarded with questions? Doesn't that drive you nuts? And his response changed my outlook on business very much so. He simply said, no, I feel very blessed that I'm in a situation that I can play golf and take a couple phone calls. Mm-hmm. He's like, that's a great place to be. He's like, how could I be mad at that? And just in the moment, I was like, man, I'm being a little baby. Like, I have to look at this different. I'm in a very blessed situation. And so now when we go on vacation, we both know, okay, there's gonna be times I have to step away from a sightseeing trip or something, but we're in a position where we can go for an extended vacation and still be able to make a living. So the things that used to drive us nuts have kind of, smarter people can give you perspective sometimes. And Doug was a very smart person when it came to that.
Okay, it's like, who's smart in this situation, us or the other people?
Doug's way smarter than me. I'm a dum-dum still. What are some of the things that you've noticed? Okay, so now you've talked about, what are the things you like about the business? Like when you're here working, what are some of the things that drive you nuts? What are some of the things that you enjoy?
A lot of that has to do with like my day-to-day tasks, but for me, I get addicted. Like if our accounts receivable is high, like to me, it's an addiction to, okay, I've called all these people, I've collected, not that it's about the money, but it's about getting something off my plate. Okay, I've decreased my accounts receivable from 2 pages to half a page. Okay, that makes my day. Yeah, that is addicting. Talking with clients, you know, I'm by nature kind of a shy person, and so it's not really in my nature to talk to people a whole lot. Working here at the store, it's helped me grow a little bit. It helped me be able to talk to people, see what's going on in their lives. We bring Yeti in every day, and he's always a conversation starter, and so just being able to chat with people about things other than the fireplace too, I really enjoy that.
And then you've actually closed a couple sales, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and tell me a little bit about how that feels. And
yeah, it's definitely a little bit of a rush. I feel like I don't quite have the knowledge base that everybody else has here, so, but I do know a little bit more about grills. So if I'm able to sell a grill or, you know, sell something to somebody that I use a lot, like a thermometer, yeah, it is addictive.
One of the things I used to kind of try to explain to Becky back in the day was, yeah, we're all in the business to make money, and if we happen to make a decent amount of money, that's all fine and good and great. But for me, it's always been, for lack of a better term, kind of cheesy, the action. Like every time you close a deal, it just is satisfying. And it's not about the dollars and cents, but somebody walks in and they need a solution and we're able to give them a solution. Or maybe they think they want something and we were able to educate them and they want something else. And that's just the nonstop being able to interact with people and provide solutions. And yeah, and there's some people that are kind of hard to sell and you sell them. And I don't care if it's a $300 sale or a $30,000 sale, there's a certain addiction and rush that comes with doing that. And so I think Becky would always get frustrated. Sometimes my mood was dependent back in the day on, did we sign this client for a house build, or did we sign a client for a remodel or a fireplace job? And as soon as you signed a deal, it lasted about 5 minutes and you were looking for the next deal. She was like, can't you enjoy it for a little bit? And I'm like, no, you're just looking, it's like you're a cocaine addict. You're looking for the next rush. You're looking for the next rush. And I mean, it does remind me of my cocaine days a little bit. Just joking, I've never been seeing cocaine. But
I will say, I think it's a lot of a team effort too. Like, it's not just when I make a sale. If I'm sitting here with the girls and I hear them, they've spent 3 hours with a client and finally the client is deciding to pull the trigger, it's a high five for everybody. Like, I think it's definitely a team mentality.
100%. I absolutely am thrilled with where I am at in our career right now with our business. Whether it's here in Rapid City or down in Denver, every single employee we have right now is top shelf. And you know, if I was going to rate them, honestly, every single employee between a 1 and a 10, they don't get a 10 because I don't get a 10. Nobody gets a 10. But I have so many employees that are 8s and they're 9s, and they are just doing very good. And usually they're an 8 or a 7.5 because they left their soda sitting on my desk or something like that. But other than that, they're 8s and 9s. Yep. Very much a pet peeve, leaving sodas around. Drives me nuts. So
what's something that people don't realize about owning this fireplace company?
I guess specific to fireplaces, people feel that in the world of YouTube or the world of Googling, now with the world of AI, that installing a fireplace takes about an hour, hour and a half, and you're done.
Yeah.
And so trying to educate people that it's, yeah, you might be able to drop the box and get the venting hooked up that quick, but there's a lot more to it. So many times we have to educate clients. We give them a price, they're offended by the price, and they go out and try to install it themselves. I would say 9 out of 10 times, 8 out of 10 times, they're calling us to come finish the install. So I guess letting the public know the complexity of our job. If you're in the fireplace business, installing a fireplace really isn't that big of a deal, but there are some nuances, and it's just, you have the aesthetics, you have the tech part of it, you have the building, you have the codes. There's a little bit more of the business to it. The other thing I learned is I like it way more than I thought it would. I've been a home builder for years, and that just kind of wore thin after a while. I love doing fireplaces, and if this is what I do for the rest of my life, I'm trying to focus on the business end of it. But even when I go out with some of the crews and we're doing a full turnkey, it's just a fun business. You know, our longest job is about a month, you know, whereas our high-end custom homes were a year.
Yeah.
And that was a nightmare. And so customers, we have shorter relationships with them. Every fireplace is different. There's no cut and paste. So I've really enjoyed the fireplace business way more than I thought.
So what is the biggest lesson you've learned as a small business owner?
The big answer is going to be balance. And that covers almost every aspect. So balance on how I deal with and what I expect from my employees, balance on what is a reasonable way to handle difficult customers, what's a realistic, to own a business and be very successful out of it. The term work-life balance, honestly, I don't know if there is such a thing. It's going to be out of balance. You've got to do things that are uncomfortable or you're not willing to do. You just got to make sure you keep your family happy. That's where it's at. You don't lose your family, you don't lose your faith, but a close third for me is the business. It's just fun, I enjoy it.
I'm really curious how you're going to answer this question. What does a typical day look like for you?
Every day is different. I mean, my days usually start early. I'm an early riser by nature. I used to be at the office at 5:30 to 6 for years on end, and I would get home at 8 or 9. And as I hit my early 40s, I started realizing that creates burnout, and it wasn't worth it. And I learned my identity cannot be in my business. So now I've decided I get up, I have a cup of coffee. If I try to be at the office at 7 now, get the crews rolling, do whatever I got to do. Some days I spend doing bids, drawings, designs for customers. Sometimes I'm just in the books, reviewing the business, seeing what's coming up. Sometimes I'm out doing bids. So I'm very fortunate because my brain, we all use the term ADD or whatever, I don't know, but I'm a squirrel. So I like the fact that I can do some blue collar work, some white collar work. I get to be outside a lot. For me, a typical day is kind of all over the place, and I enjoy that.
Okay, awesome. That's what I figured.
Yeah.
I'm curious what the staff members would say, what they think your day is filled with.
Okay, we got some giggling back there. What do you? How would you answer that question? What's a day like me look like? And you could just yell.
Being a bum.
Well,
that's how my staff looks at me. So we're not going to ask the employees anymore. They're full of crap. So.
It's perception versus reality, I
True.
guess. So
I will say I love my employees. Employees don't understand what an owner goes through for the most part.
No, they don't understand the behind the scenes things, and they don't see that you're, when we first opened the business, you're up all hours of the night hoping that you can make payroll, sacrificing your own money so that you can continue to support these staff members that are really good. You want to keep them around. As your business grows, it's a struggle to know, do I hire more people? We're not quite there yet. But yeah, it's all that heartache that comes before.
Absolutely.
And that's why you can sit back and relax a little bit now and play golf.
Sometimes, yes.
Okay, what's the most rewarding project you've done?
Oddly enough, if I'm just going to say project, I didn't really do anything hands-on and have much to do with it, but somewhat participating in building the showroom in Denver and seeing it come together. And to give credit where credit's due, most of the guys down in Denver and the ownership handled that, but just a little bit we got to be involved in seeing that come together. We provided a little bit of the funding for it, but seeing that come together was a huge professional benchmark for us. Getting this showroom done was cool. Now having one in a different state, that really I felt like we're still a small business, but that kind of felt like we took it to the next level. We were fortunate to do the big hospital here, so do a very gorgeous high-end custom fireplace for that. That was fun. But honestly, we're doing a project right now for our accountant, and the guy is he's not looking at dollars and cents. he's enjoying the project, and having a good collaboration with the customers on some of these bigger jobs is just fun. So those are very satisfying when the customer is truly happy. That is, of course we want the money. That's what we're in it for.
Business.
But knowing Paul is happy, and he's every day comes home is like, that's the part that we thrive on for sure. So
I will say I love being out in the community and seeing one of our projects. Every time I'm at the hospital, I'm like, yeah, that's us.
Yeah.
Or if I see the vans out and about and I know they're busy, and that I just love seeing that. I think there was a project up in Sturgis that you guys did that was outdoors. I love seeing that. So
I have very much learned, and I've heard people on YouTube and all that people say this, but the older I get, I realize it is gratitude. Understanding what the sacrifices that you made, the time that you gave and allowed me to grow my business, because for the longest time you were the breadwinner. You were in the medical field, you made a lot of money, and I was making piddly amounts trying to get a business going, and you were very patient. It feels good knowing that I wouldn't be here if it wasn't without you. Also knowing my business partners, I've always owned my own businesses. This is the first time I've had business partners, and over the past decade, it's been awesome. So I've learned to be very grateful for my employees. I love my employees. I truly do love my business owners, and I'm grateful for them putting up with me, because I can be a bit to handle, I'd imagine. And I'm very grateful for my wife's patience throughout the years and putting up with me. But I look forward to having these visits, talking about some more things. I like to talk more about the business, the numbers, kind of how we grew the business, what we plan to do grow with the business, and advice I would have for any young person getting ready to start a business. So until then, thank you very much for listening to us flap our yappers for a little bit, and we look forward to seeing you again at Flatirons Fire. Thank you.